comprehensive probe of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation led by Bola Ahmed as Minister. Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris announced this latest development in a statement where he mentioned that the federal government is aware of the uproar over the development in the humanitarian ministry and it is determined to unravel the truth. Mr. Tinubu was indicted in an alleged involvement in the approval of more than 585 million to be disbursed into a personal account. In her reaction, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation denied any wrongdoing. The minister says the allegations are only out to tarnish her image. She said, in quotes, "Integrity and accountability are our watchword. Under my watch, in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, no one will embezzle government funds as before." End of quotes. Now let's take you through the timeline of investigation into the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs in the last 2 weeks. For more on the recent development, I have joining us the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Rafsajani. Glad to the news at this time. Mr. Awal, this moment has, brought attention to major inconsistencies in this ministry, and as regards the conditional cash scheme, talking about the leaked memos and all. And also, we know that online we see, this ministry coming out to say that they have released a particular amount to Nigerians, 15 million Nigerians, and we find out that even your colleague does not, did not access this money. But what can you say about the accountability mechanism in place in that ministry at this time?
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, viewers. It's very clear to Nigerians and even international community that a lot of happenings, a lot of corruption happening in various government agencies in Nigeria, and we have opportunity to block those corruption going on. But due to lack of political will from the previous administrations to the current administration, this has become a norm in the psyche of many public officials. Looting public treasury is like a passion, and there's no fear of God. We have all sorts of rules and regulation, from public procurement law to the financial regulation to due process to change of administrative processes. But some people, because they believe that they are untouchable or they have good fathers in the presidential villa, or they are so they can break the law. They can engage in all sorts of impunity practices, and this is not taking us anywhere, because when you look at the amount of money being diverted, these are money that mostly that government borrowed in the name of Nigerian people, or money that have been recovered from those looters of yesterday, and now today's looters are looting without even concern that they have plunged Nigerians in more poverty, in more disrepair, and a lot of Nigerians are simply not able to even eat, to even feed themselves, or take even themselves and their family to hospital. Not to talk of getting educated. So the consequences of what has been going on is what we are seeing: insecurity, more deepening of poverty, homelessness, collapse of infrastructure, and that is why the anti-corruption and must be promoted to prevent further looting.
Well, you can see on our screen a video which shows a few vulnerable groups receiving cash from the scheme. So we understand that it's possible to also prove that. But I'm curious about what your reaction is, what you believe should have been the immediate reaction of the federal government to these accusations as against the suspension and also sack. Should we not also be focusing on a recovery of this funds at this time?
Well, I think let's allow the EFCC to do its work. I think EFCC is doing very good work. EFCC, ICPC, they are doing great work in this nation, and we must support them. We must commend their resilience, their effort, their sacrifice to make sure that they stop or they prevent further looting in this country. If not because of the patriotic work by EFCC, they would have just kept quiet, just like in the past administration. This kind of situation were happening, and some people just decided to keep quiet. This time around, the leadership of EFCC and ICPC are out there to ensure sanity, in our governance system. The financial corruption that is going on in the various ministries and parastatal, they are doing their best to make sure that they stop it. So I think it is good that President Tinubu has asked that this matter be, investigated. The only appeal we are President Tinubu is to allow a fair investigation to happen without any paper, without cover up. Because if we don't go to the root of this matter, because it's not just the minister that is involved, there are tens of personnel that are supposed to be involved in this. So if investigation is carried out, we will know the other people and how they contributed towards expanding this corruption. So transferring money to personal accounts in the name of project account or taking public funds to commercial banks are things that we have noted in the past, which we have been advising government to make sure that public officials do not turn public funds into their private money or their private bank account. But nobody was ready to listen to that. This is not just one case. There are several of those cases. Huge amount of money will be diverted to personal account in the name of project account. We need to stop that fraud. CBN should be able to house public government funds, of all the ministries or parastatal or any government agency. This money to commercial banks where it is easy to disappear. Let CBN host this money, unless no individual puts, just like the way financial regulation stipulated, no public funds should go into private account of individual.
All right, Mr. Awal, we have a lot more to still discuss on this. But then we also know that the head of the former administration, Sadiya Umar Farouk, has been summoned by the EFCC. So we're just going to, wait on the outcome of that invitation to have make a decision on that. Well, I've been speaking with the Executive Director, Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center, Awal Rafsanjani. Glad to have you join us on the news at this time. We are still watching TVC News at 1. We'll be back with more stories after this break. Stay with us.